Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner Studios, and with me this morning is Dawn McCarty. We spoke with Dawn a couple weeks ago when she was over at the Royal Oak Bookshop. She was, pushing her book, Being Different Rocks. She had her dog with her. It was really great. And it was it's a neat book, and we're going to talk a little more about it because we had a lot of response from our audience that just wanted to hear more about you and about Apollo, isn't it? That's your...
Mm-hmm.
And talk about your book, because I know you have new books in the works.
I do. Good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon, depending on the time when you watch this.
2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning.
This is the kind of stuff you watch at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's a dog story. It's always a good time for a dog story.
I know. People love their dogs.
They do.
So why didn't you call this dog Apollo?
Actually, Apollo is my foster dog.
Oh, okay.
He goes with me to meet and greet kids and help talk about rescue and continuation of Mickey's story, which is about being different and that it's okay.
Okay.
Which is a great message
Apollo
for children.
and Mickey both were three-legged dogs.
Well, Mickey was, he did actually have all four of his
did he?
legs.
Okay.
But his difference was he was born with a condition called carpal hyperextension. So all four of his feet, the best analogy is that they were like the back feet of a rabbit's.
Oh, okay.
So for a person, imagine walking from your elbows down.
Right.
And so that made him quite different.
Oh, definitely
you
quite
could see
different.
him coming. And he made quite a bit of noise sometimes when he walked.
I was going to imagine.
But he was not aware of it. And that was one of the beauty with him, is he was wonderful with kids, cats, dog, any animal or person he met. And he showed them that he was not limited.
Right.
He ran up and down stairs. He ran through the creeks, over the trails. He could hop over logs.
Well, when you're born that way, people or animals, you adapt because you don't know any different. I mean, that's how you are.
So, and when some people didn't see him until he stood up, the only thing that changed was them.
Sure.
Then they realized this really isn't hurting him, and look at him go. It doesn't matter that he has this condition.
Right.
And I just thought it was a good message for children.
It is. It's a very good children's book, and I think that these are the kind of stories that children like. That with animals and being different, and the illustration. We want to talk about that for a few minutes because the illustration is. Look here, Mark. Take a good picture of that. The pictures and the drawings of this are really good.
Yes, Jeff Mora is an illustrator based in Richmond, who I found through the publisher Mascot Books, who is based in Herndon, Virginia, and it was a wonderful collaboration. I sent several photos. I had gotten samples from other illustrators, and I asked my project manager at Mascot Books, was there anyone else that I should consider? And she reached out to a couple, and Jeff came back and was almost there, and I just had a couple of comments, and the next illustration he sent me made me cry.
Right.
And that was when I realized that I had found the perfect person to help me bring this story.
That's the message with graphic artists. We do a lot of graphic artists here at National Media, and we're dealing with people all over the world, really, because we can't meet them front to front, just like you were trying to do. And people say, well, make me up some designs and we'll look at it. And I said, no, you give me a word picture. You tell me the vision that you have. Then the graphic artists or the illustrators take it and put that in a form of art. And I would say we bat 99 out of 100 people like you did with that one. You know it when you see it, and you say, wow. I mean, that's what it is. And so we give credit to these designers and these graphic artists, and they do a great job of how to translate your vision, because you had an idea in your mind of what you wanted it to do.
And the text was sent, and some photos. All of the illustrations of Mickey are based on photos of Mickey.
Right.
But being able to take the words and translate it into a picture, because I have read to younger school grades, preschool, and they can write their own story with the pictures.
Sure.
The illustrations that Jeff did. And he just really brought out the heart and soul of Mickey for this book. I can't say enough about how much I appreciate everything he did.
Well, let's go back into the story in case people didn't really catch your previous interview, which we're going to link to it in this story. But let's talk about the basic, the concept of your book, Being Different Rocks, and what's that all about?
The story is written from Mickey's perspective, about his journey from, he was born at a breeder with his medical condition, and then he was brought into rescue. So his story is about his life in rescue and his journey to his forever home, and that all along the way you have adventures, you don't stop learning, and you can explore and have fun and make tons of friends and find your family.
Sounds like,
And all along the way, you realize being different rocks.
right. So he's kind of like a superhero dog.
A little, without the cape.
But the kids really relate to this when you're reading it to them.
They do, and it touches a little bit on rescue, and so it gives a little insight for what rescue's about and what volunteering is, and so there's a couple of different messages
Sure.
captured, but the end game is for anyone to realize, embrace who you are and rock your difference.
Right. Well, you talk about your Apollo, the dog you have now, is a rescue. How did you get involved in that?
After I adopted Mickey from Virginia German Shepherd Rescue, I became a volunteer for them. They have been, this is going on their 18th year, 2001.
And where are they
19th year.
located at?
They are across the state of Virginia, a little bit in Maryland and D.C. What I like is Virginia German Shepherd Rescue, all of the dogs are housed in homes. They're fostered in homes. So
Right.
you learn more about getting along with kids and cats and what kind of dogs. And some shepherds actually are couch potatoes, and sometimes some look for a job, be it agility or running marathons
Sure.
or somewhere in between. So being in a home helps us do a really good job of identifying a great home for them. And Virginia German Shepherd Rescue also takes in medical dogs with medical needs and seniors. So after I adopted Mickey, I became a volunteer, and he and I had adventures. We would go to adoption events and talk about the breed, talk about the process of becoming an adoptive parent with the rescue, and of course his medical condition. And then we would also do home visits where we would go and meet people and talk to them in their homes to get an idea of what would be a great fit for them. And then I, through that, became a foster. And I am an advocate for seniors. So I foster seniors and hospice. And on occasion dogs with specific medical issues.
Out of all this book appeared.
And out of all of this came this book.
Well, I talked to you earlier before we started you, and I asked when your next book is coming, and I assume that this book is in the same vein as...
It is. I have a couple of different ideas out there. And again, when I go and read to kids, one of my first questions is, what did they like about it? And of course, most of like, he was a rescue dog, or he found a home, or he had adventures. So they all grab something different from the story. And so I bounced a couple of ideas off my audience. My hope to be soon
a little
super
audience
fans.
research, right?
And I am looking at doing a series with Mickey about his ongoing adventures after becoming an alum for the rescue, talking about rescue to open kids' eyes to the world of rescue. And I also have a foster dog who failed. He ended up staying with me, but his name is Milo, and he is younger, but he has become a teacher to some of the seniors that have come in my home, because some come from backgrounds where they never played or they weren't in a house. So he's taught them some of the rules and how to play. So it's going to be a series of him and some of the dogs that he has helped get ready for their homes, being a foster brother.
That's great.
Kind of.
Are you going to give us a little hint about your new book?
I
mean, more than just... Come on now. You're not going to tell it.
I'm not going to give it all away, but no, the next book will be the introduction of Milo as a foster brother.
Okay, Milo.
And opening the world of fostering.
So this could just go on. You'd be like the Harry Potter series.
I
It'll
would
be the
love
Marlowe
that.
and the dog.
The Mickey and Milo show?
That's right.
I think that would be fabulous.
So you do all this part-time. So you said that your work is getting in the way of your authorship here.
So yes, I do have a full-time job, but I have been saving. I save up my vacation days, so that I can come out and read to kids or come and visit you, and so that is in my spare time, on my off hours after I'm out hanging out with the dogs and having more adventures and inspiration for follow-on books, then I'm coming out and going to events like the Apple Blossom Festival this weekend.
Right.
I'll be there Saturday and Sunday sharing Mickie stories, and I'll be happy to sign purchase copies and address it to anyone you like. And
Right.
spread the word.
Yes, because Apple Blossom's coming up here real soon.
Yes.
Like next week. So that's great. Like we met you at the Royal Oak Bookshop, and I'm sure you'll be back there again.
I am hoping.
And when your new
With
book
my
comes
new
out, I'm
release.
sure Tammy will have you over there again. We'll have you back.
That would be lovely.
This time we'll have you back before that you're there, so we can try to drive the audience up a little bit for you. But it was great,
appreciate that.
great doing that. And I met Apollo, a very nice dog, and it just like you say, when they have these conditions, just like people, we wonder, it's hard for us to relate, but animals and people alike adapt to their situation.
They do. And as you met Apollo, he is very good at showing people that he can run around and chase after the squirrel just as much as the next pup.
Right.
And
right.
he does love to play chase, and through Milo he has learned ball. And don't worry, when I say chase squirrels, he just runs out to say hello to them and then gets upset when they run up the tree. It's quite hilarious.
Right. It is funny to watch.
Because he just sits there and watches them up the tree like, why did you go away? I wanted to say hi.
It sounds like a new story.
It could
That's
be
a new book.
story. And he's very engaging with kids, and is very patient and polite. So he's a
Right.
wonderful spokesperson for the breed, or just dogs in general, as well as
You're
for
seeing
the
a
rescue.
different side of the German Shepherd in these compared, because you typically think of them about military dogs and police dogs and
Right.
things like that. Yeah.
And so that's why I say, there's a breed for everyone. Mud is a great breed as well.
Right. We always had Heinz 57.
Yes, growing up, I was whatever happened to follow me home with some encouragement, maybe without some encouragement.
Right. A candy bar in the pocket always seems to get them.
So, and I had a menagerie in my home, and a friend talked to me about the Shepherd Rescue, and I was like, well, I'm never really a breed person, but I'm looking for a larger pup because I have a bigger house now, and let me see. And
When they wag their tail, though, they put a bruise on your leg.
that is
sometimes.
true. That is true. Several of them will. And so I've just become a very big advocate for shepherds, because there are so many that are great
Sure,
family
sure,
pets.
They are.
And they're just a joy to be around. And again, I'm very supportive of rescues in general that are in-home fosters, and that is one of my big, especially ones with that focus on seniors.
Okay.
And help all.
Well, Dawn, it's great talking to you again, and I'm sure we'll be together in the future. What we'll do is we'll put the link on the bottom of the story to the rescue organization. We'll put their website on there.
Wonderful.
And contact Dawn's website that she's building. And tell you
That
are
should
building.
be I have gotten to where I feel I need to expand and do a website.
Right.
Might just start with like one page.
We'll get it out
to
there.
get most of information, but at least to get a place where I can house interviews and
Sure.
photos of Mickie,
Right.
and share information again about the rescue, about my journey into this new world of authorship. Share more about Mascot Books. Again, they were fabulous to collaborate, and that's more, we talked about them in a previous
Sure.
interview. But they do a great job from A to Z of helping you wind your way through this
Sure,
fabulous
sure.
journey. And also where I'll be in upcoming events throughout the area.
Great. Well, we'll put that on the story and get the links down there to where Dawn's going to be. We really appreciate you dropping by the studio.
All right, thank you for having me again.
All right.